This is the Nintendo Switch Lite and I think you should buy one. It's an interesting handheld with a small form factor compared to other handhelds like the Steam Deck or the brand new Switch 2. I know most people are rushing out to buy the Switch 2. It's cool and all that, but it's expensive. Instead, you can buy yourself a Switch Lite. It's portable, plays most of Nintendo games, and it's cheaper than other handhelds on the market. You can buy these things on eBay for like $140 and I guarantee you're getting your money's worth with the Switch Lite. You can mod this thing and buy an OLED screen for it and play all of your favorite Nintendo games. I've been using this small guy here for months and I'm convinced it's the best handheld Nintendo has ever made. So in this video, we shall go through the things I love about the Nintendo Switch Lite and the things I don't like about this device. The Switch Lite cost me around $150, which is half the price of the Nintendo Switch 2. This makes it an excellent budget-friendly entry point into the Nintendo Switch ecosystem. The Nintendo Switch game library is huge and for this kind of pricing, it's hard to beat. Portability is one of the main selling points of the Switch Lite. It is the lightest and most compatible Switch model, weighing around 1 pound and featuring a 5.5-inch screen, making it ideal for gaming on the go. Its size and weight make it more comfortable for extended handheld play compared to the larger, heavier Switch 2. The Switch Lite isn't as small as the Nintendo 3DS, but it feels more portable. If you're someone who commutes, you cannot bring your typical handheld like the Steam Deck or the Legion Go. These handhelds are huge. The Switch Lite, you barely notice it. I literally carry my Switch Lite everywhere, to the taxi, marketplace, kitchen, and even the bathroom. I use it everywhere I possibly can because it's light, thin, and portable. The display looks better, since the identical 720p resolution on smaller screen means higher pixel density. In fact, this feels sturdier and better than the original Switch. I'd rather play games on this handheld mode than the bulkier Switch 2. After months of using this device, it's held up well. The D-pads on the sides are good. I prefer having a small cross-shaped D-pad on the left side of the Switch Lite than the 4 rounded buttons that the Switch has. It makes games like the Super Mario and Tetris feel so better. The Switch Lite's controllers are built-in and cannot be detached, unlike the Switch 2, whose Joy-Con controllers can be removed, replaced if they wear out, or even used separately for two-player games. In that way, the Switch Lite is more like older handhelds such as the 3DS or the 2DS where the controls are fixed in place. The system includes a USB-C wall charger and that's all you get. There is no dock since the Switch Lite doesn't support TV output. I also like the colors. I went with the grey version, but my favorite is the yellow one. The blue and coral options look nice too. Overall, it just feels more Nintendo-ish compared to the black original Switch. As for the game access, it supports almost the entire Nintendo Switch game library that works in handheld mode, including popular titles like The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Mario Kart, giving you a wide range of games to choose from. There's something about the Switch Lite that you just don't get with high-end handhelds like the Ally X or the MSI Claw. Don't get me wrong, these devices are impressive, but the Switch Lite offers a different kind of experience. It's cozy and straightforward. Playing games on it feels simple and effortless. There's no need to tweak advanced settings like TDP or battery wattage. You just turn it on and play. That ease of use is something the more powerful handhelds can't match. If you want to bring your games and saves from your original Switch to the Switch Lite, it's generally very easy. Nintendo has largely fixed its early issues with account management, so you can simply create a user on the Switch Lite, link it to your Nintendo account, and download any games you own. If you have Nintendo Switch Online, you can sync most of your save files using the service's cloud backup. However, not all games support cloud saves. Some major titles like Dark Souls Remastered and Pokemon don't offer this feature, which can be a drawback for players relying on backups. Fortunately, you can transfer your games and settings directly from one Switch to another using a local transfer. However, there is no simple way to copy save files from one microSD card to another or back them up using a computer. Just a quick reminder, if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thank you. Battery life on the Switch Lite is genuinely impressive compared to devices like the Ally X or the Legion Go, which struggle with battery life due to running Windows. The Switch Lite holds up much better. I typically get around 5 hours of playtime, which is already more than what most Windows-based handhelds can deliver. Nintendo claims it can last around 7 hours, and I would say that's possible under light usage. Personally, I get between 5 to 6 hours, but I always keep the screen brightness maxed out, which definitely affects battery life. Honestly, that's what I need from the Switch Lite. Like I said, I play this when I'm commuting, laying in my bed, or just going to the market. So there are things that I don't like about the Switch Lite. You can't dock the Switch Lite to a TV. It lacks video out over USB-C, unlike the regular Switch, which means it's strictly a handheld device, not a hybrid console. That also means no big screen couch gaming, and it basically eliminates local multiplayer unless you have another Switch. Technically, you can pair additional controllers and gather around the Switch Lite's small screen, but let's be honest, that's a terrible experience. The Switch Lite doesn't even have a kickstand, so it's awkward and impractical for shared play. I've used the Switch Lite with a bunch of different games, but I've spent most of the time playing Mario Kart, Zelda, and Dead Cells. These games are tremendously challenging, brilliantly made games that are perfect for handheld gaming. Nintendo keeps releasing games and most of them are perfect for kids. That's my favorite part of what the Switch does, and that Xbox and PlayStation platforms are completely bad at. This is a system I can let the kids dive into. Unfortunately, the Switch Lite forces me to stop playing it every so often because my hands start cramping and I need to take a break. The Switch Lite isn't heavy, of course, but it is just heavy enough that holding it upright and pushing buttons at the same time can result into painful hand cramps. This isn't a Switch Lite problem, to be clear. It's a handheld problem that applies to the entire Switch lineup, as well as Nintendo's long line of handheld gaming consoles before it. Where it lacks TV connectivity and detachable Joy-Cons, these limitations are outweighed by its portability, price, and comfort for solo handheld gaming. For travelers, commuters, or budget-conscious gamers who prioritize on-the-go play, the Switch Lite remains a better practical choice than the newer, bulkier, and more expensive models. If you just want a great handheld system that can play tons of games, you are fine with the Switch Lite. It's great, but I miss the TV connected part of the large Switch that adds a whole different dimension to the console. The Switch Lite saves you $100, but it's also a compromise unless you are just looking for a replacement for the 3DS. The Nintendo Switch Lite is truly a nice portable handheld for anyone who wants to get into the Nintendo ecosystem. For less than $150, you can grab one. And if you don't want to get a used one, you can still buy a brand new one for $200. But honestly, if you are thinking about the Switch Lite, I don't think you will be disappointed. And that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd like to hear from you. Catch you in the next video.